improvised self-defense tools you can take with you when the streets aren't safe. And who knows what's going to happen in the next few days, right? Things will either get crazy or they will settle down. Let's pray they settle down. But I think we've seen all of this, right? You have to be able to protect yourself and your family. And when that happens, and you can't carry certain things with you depending on where you go. You can't carry a handgun. You can't carry a knife. You need things for what we call non-permissive environments, so improvised self-defense tools. Or it might not work where you live to carry a gun or a knife. You might not be allowed to. So you might live in one of the many places around the world, most of the places around the world, where you can't carry the self-defense tools that we carry here in the United States in some places. So I wanted to go through a very quick list. I want to do it kind of fast to show you some of the things that I keep with me wherever I go, that I always have access to, that I think of if I had to go into a place that I didn't feel safe, where I might have to protect myself or my family, and I want a little extra power as I get older. I want what we call a force multiplier, something that makes me hit harder or that can create distance between me and the threat to keep them out of my face, away from my body, away from my family, to protect myself. This is all for self-defense. This is not to be an attacker. It's not to be an aggressor. It's simply for self-defense. And I believe we have the right to defend ourselves. I think you should learn, you should train how to guard yourself, how to get your hands up, how to cover your head, how to fight from behind your hands. You should learn how to throw a couple punches, maybe palm strikes, elbows, but you can also use some self-defense tools. And I want to show you what those are that I use for non-permissive environments. So what we call improvised self-defense tools, things that are not as obvious, or the things that you couldn't take. Again, like you can't, we're talking about non-gun, right? So I wanted to get that out of the way. And I know someone's going to say, well, just carry a gun and then the problem's solved. But again, most places around the world, you cannot carry a gun. So we're not even going to have that as part of the discussion. First thing, and this is one that I've been showing you a lot lately. It's the Selfy-Stick. This is called a pocket stick, or Uwara. There are different versions of this. Another version would be a Kubotan keychain. You can put your keys on there, and then you have a slashing weapon, a distracting weapon. You can strike with it. On the reason I like the Selfy-Stick so much is because it's heavier than a Kubotan keychain. I like the way it's designed. It has this grip kind of cut into it. It's made out of an extremely durable aluminum, very solid. It's heavy. So when you hold it in your fist, you have what we call a fist load. That means when you punch somebody in the jaw for self-defense, you're going to be able to move them away from you, knock them back, possibly break his jaw for self-defense, or knock him unconscious. If you knock somebody out for self-defense, that's great, because then you don't have to worry about what else they have. If there are multiple attackers and it's just you trying to protect yourself, your family, then it gives you more power in your strike. When you hold it in your fist like this and you squeeze, your knuckles aren't going to compress. You also can jab with this end right here coming out of your thumb, pushing into pressure points, soft tissue on the body, into the face or into the neck, into the top of the chest. Maybe he's holding on, won't let go. You can press into those nerves in his arm, and that's going to allow you to add more pressure, more force, more power, more pain for him, so he'll let go. You can also strike with this end, a back fist strike, and hit the guy behind you, hit the guy in the jaw over here. Like we said, maybe it's multiple attackers. Selfy-Stick makes two lengths. This is their 8-inch. This is the 12-inch. So this one, or no, this is 6 inches. This is 8 inches. I had that wrong. Anyway, so this one's longer, gives you a little bit more options. This one, I carry all my gear. I have it with me all the time. I just like this one. I like the size. It's perfect for my fist. So this is, there's a link in the description if you want to see what these are, what the dimensions are, and what the cost is. But this is a tool that you can carry with you when the streets are violent and you don't feel safe, and you want to have, you have to go to work, you have to go to the grocery store, you have to go to the bank, you have to go to the library, you have to go to school, wherever it is that you have to go, and you need to carry something with you. Maybe you're getting on the subway, you're taking public transportation, or you have to walk, or you're coming in and out at night and you want to have something extra. This is perfect. Hey, Doug's here. Doug says he was aggressively approached twice last week in Central America. Mark says singling out a rib would be effective. Yeah, stick that between the ribs. There's intercostal muscles, and you just press, and that's it. He's holding on to you. You jab that fast. You can sweep this way. You can hit that way, and that will cause a lot of extra pain. So yes, hit him in the ribs. I missed that other comment, Doug, about being aggressively, but that happens, right? We go on vacation. These are some things that you can carry with you on vacation. Here's another fist load. This one you can take anywhere and everywhere you go. No one's ever going to question you. You can take this onto the plane. You can throw this in your backpack. You can have this in your pocket. If it's late at night, you're coming out, you hold it in your hand like this. There's your fist load. You can jab with it. This one is made by Coast, and it's a poly steel. They call it poly steel, and it's extremely strong. You hit them with this side, or you can hit them with this side, or you can punch them here. Same as that pocket stick, same as the selfie stick I showed you before. You can also take away their night vision by blinding them at night. And if we can, we're gonna run, get away. Although I can't run very fast anymore, but if we can get away, if we can avoid them in the first place, if we cannot have to go certain places where we know there's more of a chance that we're going to be a victim of the violence in the streets. But if there's no other choice, this is what I'm talking about, because we have to live our lives, and you know you have to get to work. You know you've got to go to the bank, or you've got an appointment, you got a doctor's appointment, a dentist appointment. You have to go places, and you have to go to places where it's not as safe as it was, because violence is rising and social fabric seems to be crushing or crashing down in certain places. These are tools that you can carry with you that are not a gun, not a knife, that you are allowed to take most places where you can't take those other things. So this is number 2. The first one is that simple pocket stick, either a Selfy-Stick or the Kupitan keychain, something like this. This also fits in that category. It has an extra feature in addition to punching, back fist, hammer fist, smashing this way, swinging this here, sticking that in his face, hitting him in the ribs. You can also blind them at night. The third one, or the next one, I think we're up to 4. The next category is a locking carabiner. And a locking carabiner, which something like this costs maybe $10, $15 or less. You can also always get these less expensive online sometimes. But the key is that it has to be locking. This is how it unlocks to, work as a carabiner. But when you close it, now you put it in your hand. You can hold this part in your hand and punch. And I know in the comment section, people have said, you can't do that, that's gonna break your fingers. I've punched over and over and over all kinds of surfaces now, from concrete wall to punching bags, to punching mitts, to the trees. We have really dense trees down here, to see what's gonna happen when I punch full force with this. And it doesn't ever seem to come into my knuckles and break my fist. You can also strike this way with it, and you can strike this way. So similar to that Yawara pocket stick. And no, it's not a pair of brass knuckles. That's a totally different, or a knuckle duster, different type of tool. But like a brass knuckles, there is, or a duster, there's this part here which goes into your fist. Yeah, Silent Walk says, go for soft targets. Eyes, throat, mid-chest, groin, solar plexus, inside the thigh. A lot of people forget about inside the thigh. Effective and easy to remember, Silent Walk says. Absolutely. So hard to soft, soft to hard is a rule in self-defense and martial arts, which means hard head, use the soft part, palm of the hand, soft tissue, stomach, solar plexus, fist, right? Carabiner, locking carabiner. So locking carabiner is the next one. And again, I'm going through this list quickly because I have just a few minutes, and I've been watching what's happening in the news. I know you have too. We're consumed by it, which is a shame. I choose to turn it off at some point every day and not look at it and see what's happening. But my world is self-defense and defending other people, and professionally, that's my job. And so I'm always paying attention to what's happening, because things do happen. And I know people will say, oh, you're just, clickbait. You're saying you're trying to sound the alarm bell, and there's nothing really happening. Yes, there is. So, and you don't have to agree with me, turn me off, shut me up, don't listen to me. But a lot of you agree with me. We do live in times where, Brandon says, love your videos. Thanks, Brandon, for that. I appreciate that. We live in times where we do see an increase in violence. We do see social fabric under attack. We see a lot of political violence, tons of political violence. It's real. It's out there. I monitor it and watch it and pay attention to it every day professionally, because I have to. I work with federal law enforcement whose job it is to pay attention to that, and they're all saying it. We've never seen anything like this before. The tempo is insane, off the charts. Pay attention, protect yourself, protect your family. And so these are some of the tools that I wanted to share with you that you might carry if you can't carry, or in addition to carrying, if you carry a sidearm, if you carry a firearm. The firearm is not always the right choice. You maybe need a less lethal option, and these for the most part are going to be a less lethal. And like anything else, it just depends on how you use it, and use your common sense. Don't go looking for a fight, obviously, right? Silent Walk says, thank you, learned so much from you. Thank you, Silent Walk, I really appreciate that. The next one of our favorites, a couple of hex nuts on some paracord 550 cord, the little loop there, keep them from moving. Becomes a monkey fist. Monkey fist goes over one of the knuckles in the hands, one of the fingers in the hands, usually wraps once or twice. You can put it in there. Becomes kind of a fist load so that your fist is tighter, and then you can whip it out and you can whip it forward and you can thrash with it, right? So it's coming into his face, pushing him back, and it's a couple of nuts. Or you can add even more. I've got a whole bunch of these now. I keep picking them up. I must find one of these once a week. I think one of the things I forgot to grab that I was going to bring for this is just a handful of nice stones, like river stones, like the smooth ones, and learn how to throw right hand, left hand. You can also throw these, right? This thing, I don't know how much it weighs, but it is definitely not light. And if you had a couple of these in your pocket and you needed to create distance between you and a threat, and you knew how to throw it because you practiced a little bit, you can easily throw it. Now, is it going to kill him and knock him out? No, but that's not the point. Sometimes we just need some distraction. It's like a shuriken that the ninja would carry, right? A ninja or a samurai, they carry what's called a shuriken, which is just like a throwing weapon. Can be a knife, can be a pike, a spike, could be a star, throwing star. And those things, unlike the movies, it doesn't hit them in the neck and they bleed. It doesn't happen like that. That was not the purpose for it. I don't know if it happens like that or not. I've never done it. But the purpose of a shuriken is to distract and cause him to distract, like picking up a handful of rocks and throw it in his face, or a handful of sand, a handful of dirt, and throwing it in the bully's eyes right before you punch him in the face to make him stop, choking your brother. Maybe that happened. I don't know. But, you throw it in their eyes, it's got it in his eye. You throw this, you create some distance, and then you get out of there. Now, someone's going to say, that's not going to work against Brock Lesnar and SEAL Team 6, Jocko Willink's fast line, coming down from the helo. He's fast roping down, and he's got, 7 different weapons on him. He's got SEAL Team 6 all behind him. They're coming at Task Force Bruiser, and they got their... And you're going to throw that at him? That's not going to do anything. He's going to take that out of your hand. He's going to beat you with it. One guy said, you ought to, he said, his dad said, make sure you cover those in chocolate because you're going to be eating them later. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But I'd rather have something than nothing. That's the whole point. And I don't think I'm getting in a fight with SEAL Team 6 and Brock Lesnar. I don't think that Jocko himself with his cauliflower ear is going to come out in his nasty tasting energy drink. Get rid of the monk fruit, brother. Can't stand that stuff. But he's not going to come after me and take away my nuts, because I'm not going to be swinging them at Jocko or whomever else, or Brock Lesnar with his big neck and the tattoo. And that's not the point. I'm not saying the BJJ black belt is going to fall for my trick here. I'm talking about the groups of thugs. I'm talking about what you can do, what I can do if we need to get home and there's a angry mob or an angry group or an angry person or a thug or some criminally mentally ill person who's trying to hurt you, take away your freedom, your life, your dignity, hurt your child, your grandchild, your wife, spit in her face. And you're not going to stand for that. You're not going to allow that to happen. That's assault. How are you going to defend yourself? And especially as we get older, we need to have some force multipliers. So thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. So we got to do something. So could you fight? Could you give yourself an advantage over having nothing by carrying a little tactical flashlight to blind him in the night and then punch him in the face and stick that in his eye? Or maybe bring your Selfy-Stick, put your hand around that and hold it out as you're walking to the car, or hold your keys to your house or your apartment on your Kubotan keychain as you're walking home in the middle of the night and hoping that somebody doesn't jump out and try to take away from you something. Are you able to defend yourself with that? And is it better than nothing? Especially in places where you can't carry a gun and or a knife or and the one thing I don't have with me, I took it out because I've been using it so much. I used it this morning, my cane, my self-defense cane. I was doing assisted squats to help heal my hip. My hip's been really hurting lately. Yeah, Adam says crazy homeless in his area. And when we think about homeless, like I love, the terms are all messed up, right? Like some people in more liberal settings might call them our unhomed neighbors. But let me tell you, because I deal with them professionally, some of them, a lot of them, are addicts who are taking drugs that make them extremely aggressive. They're soiled. They've soiled themselves. They stink. They're filthy. I'm not talking about the traditional homeless. I'm not talking about the mentally ill who need our help and our prayers and our love. I'm not talking about the down on their luck mom or dad who are working 2, 3 jobs and they're living with their kid in the car. I love them. I want to help them as much as I can. I love the other ones too, but I don't want to let them get anywhere near my family. The ones who are addicted to drugs and the ones who are desperate and the ones who have given up on themselves and society and are maybe demonically possessed and are hurting are most vulnerable. They're going after the older grandma and grandpa, punching them in the face. They're stabbing little girls on the subway. They're throwing gasoline and lighting people on fire in some cases. And those homeless, which and I think if we could split the term and if we talk about homeless or the unhomed neighbor, we can talk about the guy living in the car who's working 3 jobs and still can't afford to live because the rent's so high around here. They exist, and those are the ones that I want to help and that I try to help. But the ones that I want to protect from are the ones who are maybe a pedophile or maybe a sexual predator or maybe somebody who has done bad things to people. Maybe that's why they're in the street. They've given up and they're desperate and they're taking drugs and it's making them aggressive and they're out of their mind. And there's a guy up on the Chick-fil-A somewhere right now I saw. Standing on, who knows what he's doing. All right, yeah, Silent Walk says he's using his walking cane everywhere he goes. He's got a way to use it and he's trained on how to use it. So this is my list. Put in the comment section what else we could add. Let's add to this list. What other improvised self-defense tools would you carry? We can put the walking cane in there. We've got locking carabiner. We've got nuts on a rope, the monkey fist. Just jab myself with that one. Got the Selfy-Stick. I put a link in the description if you want to get a Selfy-Stick. I highly recommend them. They're not expensive. It's a great gift for yourself if you didn't get what you wanted for the holidays. Carrying a pocket, we'll call these rocks, carry a pocket full of rocks or a pocket full of hex nuts that you can throw, but practice throwing right hand, left hand, get your accuracy up. A Kubotan keychain. Had these for years and years. People use them and they work, right? Oh, this maybe doesn't fit completely, but pepper gel, pepper spray. I use pepper gel so that it doesn't aerosolize and empty the buildings. I want it to stick on him and get in his eyes and have its desired effect, right? Pepper spray or pepper gel. And then the tactical flashlight. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. I wanted to show you one of my favorites. Eastern Virginia. Hey, it's good to see you, Alec. Yeah, keys on a ring string. I like that one, Silent Walk. Check these out. These are my working gloves, but I also throw these in the bag whenever I travel, and I travel with these. These are slash proof, slash resistant, and puncture resistant. So that means if I had to cover, if he's got that blade and he's coming out slashing or stabbing and I need to cover up, I also have arm sleeves. I have a whole shirt actually that I can wear if I wanted to that is slash and stab resistant. But these gloves also have the function of when you close your fist, that fist load. So it's heavier and it hits with a lot more force. And these are just tactical gloves like police officers would use. Anybody can buy these. You can carry these, throw them in your bag and you have them. If you have to go to places, violence on the streets, violence is rising, social fabric, social violence is coming up, whatever we want to call it, political violence. And you can consider carrying some. And if it doesn't resonate with you, or if you're one of those guys who are like, oh, I got my gun, I'll just pull out my gun, which I find to be one of the most obnoxious arguments. Being a person who's carried most of my adult life professionally, just because it's like you also have to train. And if you can just put holes in a piece of paper from 7 yards or even 15, 25 yards, so what? Are you swinging kettlebells and shooting steel? Are you practicing weapon retention? Are you practicing being able to employ it when you got hit in the back of the head and the guy's already on top of you. What do you do when you don't have it with you because you can't carry it where you're going? You have to go to the courthouse, or you have to go into the train station. Train stations around here, you can't carry any kind of weapon. They'll take away your gun, they'll take away your knife. And it's a crime if you try to take it in, unless you're federal law enforcement. But if you're federal law enforcement, then it's a whole different category that you're in. And those guys don't even train. No offense to them, because my brothers and sisters, and I love them, and I'm here offering to train. I'll train you in all the hand-to-hand stuff that I teach, and have been honing since I was a kid in martial arts. I started when I was 9. I've never stopped. And then in the Marine Corps, and then when I was in the Army National Guard, I focused in and specialized on only what works. And there are certain things that do work, and other things that there's a lot of theater out there. And I want you to know the practical things. So if you do carry, and then your solution is, I was going to be mean. I'm not going to be mean. Your solution is that's what you're going to do if somebody attacks you. That's great, but do the other things in case you can't carry that, or you're in a place where. And some people say, "Well, I don't go in non-permissive environments." No, that's not true. You have to. If you get a subpoena and you have to go to court, you have to go in a non-permissive environment. If someone gets sick and you got to get in a plane, and maybe for some people they don't, and they never will, but maybe you are in a place, or they blindside you and they close the distance so fast that you can't get it out. Then you're in trouble. With a little training, belts are fun. Yeah, thank you. I haven't done a belt video for a while. And I did a belt video years ago, and I'm like, I wouldn't fight with it, because the belts I was wearing were lame. I was wearing all these web belts, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me to get the right belt. But you get the right belt, you get a good concealed carry belt. Like I've got the 511 belts, a good, thick, heavy-duty leather with a metal core, inner core, which makes it even better for slash resistance, and a very heavy buckle. You can do some good damage for self-defense with a belt. You just have to make sure when you whip it out, your pants don't fall down. Just wear the right size pants so that your pants aren't keeping you from running away when you need to for self-defense. Anyway, you guys have been awesome. Please put in the comment section all those extra things that I didn't cover, or what you like of the list that I did cover. You could weld the nuts together to make a knuckle duster. If you're going to do the knuckle duster, I would just buy a nice, because you can get them online now, get a nice brass knuckle duster, get one that fits your hand, practice with it. Whatever you get though, practice with it. Whether you want to go, I practice with all my tools, no matter what tool it is that you care. If you get that Selfy-Stick, practice with it. Take it to the gym. Just don't let them see you punching their bag with your Selfy-Stick. But go to the gym with that Selfy-Stick, start punching it, see how good that feels in your hand. And then practice a couple punches, and then a lateral move, practice covering up, practice, bob and weave, and slipping, some basic boxing techniques with your Selfy-Stick in your hand. And then when you need to, you'll be able to better to defend yourself. All right, you guys been awesome.